And I don't think she is as strong, not just emotionally, but physically. I don't think she's strong enough to handle it. She's thin-skinned. She doesn't know how to debate. It's fine if the debate is, sort of an intellectual exchange, kind of a thing. But when these guys get a hold of her, especially some of these young guys like Cruz or Rubio or, like that, oh, dude, they are gonna eviscerate her, and she's not gonna, they're gonna be hitting her, with new stuff before she can respond to the first stuff. And she's going to get upset and she's going to get mad, and one of two things are going to happen. Is her health isn't going to be able to handle it, or she's going to flat explode there on the stage and do one of her "what difference does it make?" Things, and get all freaked out, and yeah. No. No. Especially, well, who should be just an outright no is NBC. They need to just, the Republicans need to say, we will not appear on NBC. After that, hit job they did when they had it. So it was like, no, no NBC. We'll do maybe, one on ABC, one on CBS, one on Fox, one at CNN or something, But, yeah. Yeah, well, I can tell you right now, Hillary's not going to, she's only going to hold maybe one debate. Maybe one. I doubt we'll see two debates with the Republicans, because they know that's her weakness to begin with. So if she becomes their candidate, if she manages to become their candidate, she'll debate them maybe once, and I think that'll be it. Yeah. They'll probably have her so high on crank, to get her through it. She'll be in bed for a week afterwards. Yeah, she'll be on bed rest for the week after, so. I remember back in 2008, and she's high. Yeah. She really connected with what she was having a breakdown. Yeah. I remember that she was connecting with the people, and she was having a breakdown. Yeah. And dude, her foreign policy has been such a disaster. She's got so much baggage between that and the Clinton Foundation, and the email scandal and Benghazi, and the Arab Spring, and having people in her cabinet, people whose organization is considered terrorist groups by our Western European allies. The Arab Spring, they're the ones who are responsible for all this upheaval in the Middle East, because they were toppling these countries, wanting the Muslim Brotherhood to be the new governments in those countries. They convinced themselves they were somehow moderates. The Muslim Brotherhood was moderates, when everybody in the world was telling them, are you kidding? That's what Al-Qaeda and Hamas and all that stuff come from, is the Muslim Brotherhood. And so what happened? They caused a civil war, and we caused that war. We what's the word for it? Undermined the government there, to cause a civil war in Egypt. We caused Libya. We caused Syria, and we've turned those. We've totally upset the balance of power there. We've all our influence and prestige, and stability that we created in that region is gone, because of, and our respect is gone, and our power is gone out of that region because of her policy. Her policy as Secretary of State to support the Muslim Brotherhood. That's what it caused. Fortunately, the Egyptians were able to overcome that and reverse the damage, kick Muslim Brotherhood out, and resume, restabilize themselves to the state they were before. But you know what? You know how they're paying us back for that little move? They used to be our number one purchaser of military, supplies. Do you know that they have more M1 Abrams tanks than the United States does? Egypt does. Part of that was a package that we arranged with them for a peace treaty with Israel. Well, Israel got smart about what we were doing. They didn't support what we were doing over there in Egypt. Egypt gets toppled. Then Egypt manages to gain back control after we toppled their government. They managed to wrestle it back away from Muslim Brotherhood. Guess who they've signed their defense pact with now? Russia. Yeah. And guess what? They've got their own little deal with Israel now. So now they're working in cooperation with Israel. For the first time, since the Muslim Brotherhood, Egypt and Israel are closer than they've ever been. Matter of fact, Israel, just to show you how much Israel trusts Egypt right now, Israel allowed Egypt to fly fighter planes over Gaza. So just last month, Egypt flew fighter planes, F-16 fighter planes over Gaza and bombed targets, inside of Gaza with the Israeli permission. And the Egyptians have reciprocated. The Egyptians have allowed the Israelis to fly missions over the Sinai. Dude, that's something that would never have happened even before Muslim Brotherhood, But that's how they've established themselves now. The other ones you're seeing the writing on the wall are the Turks. The Turks are reestablishing their ties with Israel. So it's like all that without us, because we have lost, and we've lost our influence in that part of the world. All because of her foreign policy and supporting the Muslim Brotherhood, because of Umma, and her ties to the Muslim Brotherhood, telling her what to do. So, and she's so out of it, dude. There was a report that came out just last month where they had a memo. Yeah. And they had a memo. They found a memo, one of her memos, where Uma was telling it was one of Uma's memos, where she was telling one of the new assistants that when you tell her something, first of all, she be aware that she needs to not be disturbed because she takes a couple-hour nap every day, in the afternoon. And then after you brief her in the morning, you're going to have to brief her again in the afternoon because she won't remember what you told her. That's how out there this broad is, and we're gonna that's gonna be the commander in chief. Basically, what it comes down to is Uma is the one running the show, in the State Department under her administration. Yeah. So, I just don't think